Welcome parents and carers to Studies of Religion Stage 6 syllabus. My name is Angelique Watson and I am one of the faculty members who will be delivering the course to Year 11s and 12s this year. To fully grasp the teaching and learning of this course, we need to deal with some fundamental aspects, namely, why study religion? What will we learn? How will we approach our studies? In dealing with how we will approach our studies, we will be looking at the flipped classroom strategy. And in this section, we will include examples of curriculum material to illustrate the flipped classroom strategy. The main drivers of doing anything is the why are we doing it. So why should students study religion? The Department of Religious Studies in Philadelphia offers many reasons to study religion, but I will focus on the last 2 points. Religious studies is a diversified and multifaceted discipline focusing on the study of specific traditions and the general nature of religion as a human phenomenon. It spans cultures around the world, ancient as well as modern. It also combines a variety of methodologies, including, but not limited to, textual, historical, literary, social, scientific, philosophical, and art historical approaches. It is impossible to be a well-informed student of the humanities and social sciences without a study of religion. Courses in religious studies provide excellent preparation simply for living life in a pluralistic society and global culture. So what will students be learning? By the end of this course, students will have a sound knowledge and understanding of the six faiths, being Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, indigenous traditions, Judaism, and Hinduism. This brings us to the main focus of this video teaching: how we will be using the flipped classroom strategy. A flipped classroom is an instructional strategy and a type of blended learning that reverses the traditional learning environment by delivering instructional content, often online, outside of the classroom. It moves activities, including those that may have traditionally been considered homework, into the classroom. In a flipped classroom, students watch online lectures, collaborate in online discussions, or carry out research at home while engaging in concepts in the classroom with the guidance of a mentor. I've included this flowchart to show how the flipped classroom differs from traditional methods. So before class, students gain their first exposure to the material via a video or reading. Before or at the start of class, students complete assignments or quizzes to ensure preparation. And in class, the faculty guide student learning, answer questions, and students collaborate to practice and apply material. There are 7 key elements of the flipped classroom strategy, which we will cover using examples of the syllabus over the next few slides. These keys are learning outcomes, activities, assessment and reporting, alignment, integration of technology, planning and design, and support. To further illustrate the concept of a flipped classroom strategy, I'll be using one example out of the syllabus as a case study, the example of Buddhism, with a focus on the origins and principal beliefs of this religion. The first key element of the flipped classroom strategy is learning outcomes. These outcomes, specifically for the example of Buddhism, have been extracted directly from the syllabus. Please spend some time with the student reading through this slide in detail. I will, however, elaborate on the learning outcomes required for the specific examples of origins and principal beliefs of Buddhism over the next 2 slides. So, in the example of the origins of Buddhism, students will be able to outline the historical and cultural context in which Buddhism began, examine the principal events of the Buddha's life, including the Enlightenment, explain why the Buddha is the model of Buddhist life, describe the early formation of the Sangha within the first 5 years, including Mahapajapati's request for a female Sangha, identify the importance of the first 2 councils in the development of Buddhism, and outline the unique features of Theravada Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, and Vajrayana Buddhism. In the example of principal beliefs, students will be able to define the 3 jewels, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, describe the significance of the 4 noble truths, examine the beliefs of Anicca, Dukkha, and Anatta, and recognize the connection between karma, and samsara, outlining the importance of nirvana in Buddhism. The next and probably most important element of the flipped classroom strategy is introducing the activities we will be using to study this course. I've put together 5 activities I believe will be effective in aiding teaching and learning of this subject. Firstly, online resources. Students will have access to online resources that have been created, collected, and collated for the purpose of their studies. These will be provided via the teacher's webpage and/or Google Docs account. In the example of the origins of Buddhism, this historical and cultural context in which Buddhism began, students may access the teacher's webpage and come across this video that has been uploaded there for their reference.
Buddha means enlightened one, enlightened to the true nature of life. The Buddha, Shakyamuni, was born a prince in the subcontinent of India 2,500 years ago. The 4 universal sufferings, in the shape of birth, old age, sickness, and death, shocked the young Shakyamuni, and he set out from his palace, determined to find a solution.
In the interest of time, I have to cut this example short, but hopefully you understand the idea. After engaging in an online lecture or video teaching, students will have the opportunity to evaluate information online, and their responses will be available during class time the following day for further debate and discussion. In the example below, questions will be formulated with the option of having short answer, paragraph, or multiple choice answers given. In the next activity, online tools for note-taking, students will be directed to online resources and encouraged to use online tools such as Digo to highlight and make notes of pertinent information. In this example, a PDF article on the life of the Buddha has been examined with interesting facts highlighted. This information is stored so it can be recapped during exam time and is also able to be shared with others. Similarly, online content will be paired with online conversations and forums so that students get to ask questions, share ideas, and make connections for knowledge sharing. Again, the printouts of online conversations will be shared during class time for further discussion and debate. This would also indicate to the teacher the level of understanding the students have on the subject. In this example, students would be invited to a Google Hangout to discuss the early councils of Buddhism, including the first council at Rajagaha and the second council at Vesali. Next, research tasks. Students will be given tasks directing them to conduct their own research either online or through reading. In this example, students will be directed to learn more about Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana Buddhism through research. If students were to Google as such, various sources would appear for them to use for further reading and address learning outcomes for the 3 types of Buddhism. So for example, I'll click on this one, which is about Buddha's teachings, and you'll see that it gives more detail on this subject. And lastly, students will be encouraged to visit a Buddhist temple or the Buddhist Society for research purposes, and also to interview a Buddhist. The interview questions would be structured around the principal beliefs as illustrated in the 5 questions shown. So these are questions related to the 3 jewels, the 4 noble truths, the connection between karma and samsara, and the importance of nirvana. Students could also video their interviews to share them with their peers to further enhance engagement, knowledge sharing, and increase learning. The activity of visiting a Buddhist temple or the Buddhist Society and/or interviewing a Buddha allows not only for student engagement, but also for parent and community involvement. The flipped classroom strategy as a whole allows for increased parent involvement and community involvement as the learning-based activities take place at home as well as out in the community or in an online community. This slide deals with assessment and reporting. As you can see here, there's quite a number of examples of informal assessments and formal assessments that will take place throughout the year. Informal assessments and formal assessments will be combined throughout the year to establish what it is the student has learned and what they still need to discover. This slide deals with the studies of religion HSC examination specifications, which I'm not going to detail right now, but suggests that parents, carers, and students familiarize themselves with this slide over the duration of the course. As far as reporting goes, Year 11 schools are responsible for awarding a grade for each student, and the grade is recorded on the student's record of achievement. In Year 12, the most important thing to note is that the HSC credentials report both the school-based assessment and external examination measures of achievement. In terms of alignment, this picture illustrates that teaching and learning experiences, learning outcomes, and assessment tasks are closely intertwined. With regards to technology, Pinoli's 7C learning design framework will be used to conceptualize, create, communicate, collaborate, consider, combine, and consolidate. And student-specific requirements for this course are a working computer, access to the internet, membership to be able to utilize Digo, and membership to Google Docs. These memberships will be set up during class as we commence the course. As we begin the course, students will be provided with a clear and detailed plan as to how the course will be delivered and the expectations from them throughout the duration of the subject. Students will receive support from teaching staff and the school's IT department throughout the course. The one main benefit of using a flipped classroom strategy is that questions may be asked online at any time and answered by any available teaching staff or student peers. If you have any questions regarding the content of this presentation, please do not hesitate to email me at angelique@angeliquewatson.org. Thank you.